Hey there, so today I'm going to share with you a method to generate industry specific leads where we are also able to select the title of these leads and also the number of employees within the company that these leads are associated with. And this is going to consist of two steps. We are first going to be sourcing these leads, and again based on the criteria that we are looking for, and after that we are going to prepare a personalized email for each of these leads based on the lead data extracted. So without wasting any more time, I'll get right into it so that we can see it in action first, and after we are done looking at it, I'll walk you through step by step on how it works and how you can set it up for yourself. Okay, so we are going to start with lead sourcing, right? For this, I have a leads database set up on Google Sheets. And here you can see we have all these columns: first name, last name, the title, the email, the company size, LinkedIn, organization, organization's LinkedIn, organization site, industry, email prepared, and keywords. So essentially these are the columns that we are interested in, even though the data source contains more columns such as Twitter URL. What's going to happen is when we run this workflow here, it is going to start generating these leads for us based again on the industry that we are interested, right? And that column we specify is here. And for this example, what I have is two different industries that I want to generate leads from. One of them I think is retail and the other one is real estate, and this here is going to generate 100 from each, so we should have 200 generated leads. But in some of them the email is empty, so what we have here is a filter that's going to filter them out, and we also have a remove duplicates node that's going to remove duplicates based on duplicate emails. So in the end we are probably gonna have a bit under that, but anyway, I'm just gonna go ahead and run this workflow so that it can start generating leads for us. And this typically takes around a minute or two, and after that what's going to happen is we're going to map the response into the columns that we are interested in, then filter out the emails or the rows with empty emails and remove duplicates, again based on emails, just in case there are any overlaps between two different industries, but I'm guessing not. And finally we are going to add them into our spreadsheets here, right? So the reason I started looking into lead generation strategies is because I have the website for my agency up and ready, so I'm ready to take on projects. And obviously YouTube is my primary platform where I try to market my services, but I also want to try to reach out to clients myself, and hence why I am looking for and trying to learn these different strategies. So for this, I decided to first try out some of these publicly available services, and this is the first one that I attempted. And honestly, I was going to actually show you the part where I send out these emails myself, but unfortunately my Google Workspace account is not ready yet. For some reason it's saying registration failed. I'm trying to sort that one out. Otherwise, I was also going to be sending these emails and was going to share the results with you guys in the community, but I guess we'll have to postpone that for later videos. And as I was speaking, the process actually completed, and let's take a look at what we have here. Let's go over to our spreadsheet, and you can see that we have all the lead data populated into the corresponding columns. So let's start from the first row. We got Gustavus, right? And you can see the first name, last name, title, email, the company size, LinkedIn, organization, then organization LinkedIn. Even though this does not seem to be LinkedIn, I may have mismapped this. I'll take a look at it when we look at the node. And then we got the organization site. I'm pretty sure that's what I did here. This is exactly the same. So I think I accidentally mapped the organization site to organization LinkedIn. Anyway, then we got the industry, right? And in the industry we need two kinds of industry, which is going to be retail and real estate. So apparel and fashion, this is probably a sub-industry under retail, that's why it's included. Then you can see here we also got real estate. Then we should have all these records here, and according to this we have 177 data inserted into our spreadsheet. So you can see that we actually initially got 200, and then we filtered 200 into 177, and there were no duplicates, so 177 remained 177 items here. So finally we ended up with 177 leads, right? So let's continue with this. We got the industries, then the email prepared column here is what we are going to be populating, and this is where we are going to pass in the personalized email, right? And finally we got the keywords, which represents or which corresponds to the industry, or specifically what exactly is they are providing as a service or a product. So this is retail, and when we look at the keywords, we can understand based on these keywords that this is a perfume company, right? Perfume, fragrance, then perfume oil, scent collections. And then the second one again is also under retail, but when we look at the keywords, it says retail art supply. So we understand that their company is a arts company, which is super cool. All right, so for example, this guy here apparently is the co-owner of this particular organization, which has 9 employees. And if you scroll down, you'll notice that it will never exceed the number 10, and that is because it is one of my filtering criterias, right? Where I want it to be only scraping for leads or generating leads that is associated with a company that has between 1 to 10 employees, and that is what we are seeing here. All right, so now let's head over to his LinkedIn profile to verify that he is indeed the co-owner of this organization. And when we come here, we can see that he is associated with the company. And when I scroll down, again, we can also verify that he indeed is the co-owner of this company here. How to pronounce it, I'm not super sure, Odor Diamor, but this is pretty cool, right? And when I scroll down to the list, let's pick a random person again, and let's see which industry this is in. Okay, it's the real estate industry. I am gonna, again, let's verify this together. Manoj Jadhav, we can see that he is apparently the founder and managing director of Management Group Limited. Let's again head over to his LinkedIn profile to verify that. Founder, managing director at Management Group Limited. So we can quickly actually verify that he indeed is what is stated in the leads database, right? So apart from that, we got the organization LinkedIn, which I seemingly mismapped. We are definitely going to take a look at that in a bit. And then we also have the organization site, right? For example, this perfume company, again, we can actually go to their website, which is super cool. And it does give us the flexibility of, or the opportunity to make our emails even more personalized by first scraping their websites and only then sending them emails, right? I think that would be more effective. Definitely something I'm going to be exploring and experimenting with as I continue with this journey. Then again, we have the industry, the email prepared, and the keywords column, which we already looked at. And with that, we have our leads database here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to continue with the next step, where we're going to prepare personalized emails for each of these leads based on the data that we have on them, right? Such as the keywords, the company they work in, and so on. So without further ado, let's get to that. For that, what we're going to do is we're going to head over to our canvas again. And before we actually start with this, let's take a look at the data that we have here. I want to make sure that I didn't actually mismatch it. All right, so it seems like I'm mapping it correctly here, right? Organization.linkedin URL, organization site, website URL, which is correct. And yeah, it is correct here. It's also correct on there, and they are actually providing the company's LinkedIn. So I guess what's really happening is I am mismapping when I'm actually adding this into Google Sheets. Pretty sure that's the reason, right? And we can see that indeed is the case. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to remove all of this data that we have here, okay? Since we already have it, we just have to pretty much... Oh wait, would that make any... I hope that doesn't... I'm scared that that's going to restart the whole thing. So I'm just going to leave it the way it is. But the only thing I'll have to do here essentially is just switch to this, and that would fix the problem. What I'm scared right now is because I changed this data here, I'm scared that this whole thing is going to re-execute. So I just don't want to risk that, right? And because of that, I'm going to leave it the way it is for now at least. And before we continue with the second step, I also want to show you the data that we receive in its entirety so you can have a better idea. So you can see here, we also receive, apart from what we do, the Twitter URL, GitHub URL, Facebook URL, which in the case of this candidate apparently is empty. Then we got the headline, the email, which we already have, the organization ID, employment history, which can be pretty long depending on the lead. Then we got the state, city, and country, which I think is also one of the criteria that we can filter when we generate leads. So it's pretty useful. And the organization number, organization LinkedIn, which we mismapped in our case, the primary domain, their sanitized phone, then the industry, the number of employees. Then we have the keywords, which we are already mapping, secondary industries, and all these other things here. So it's pretty rich in data. And now that we looked at this, we can actually start with the second example. And the way we're going to do this is we are basically just going to loop over all these items one by one. And based on the prompt that I gave this basic LLM chain here, what it's going to do is it's going to look at the data that we are providing it from each of these leads and generates a personalized email accordingly. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on test workflow so that we can get this running, right? And now what it's doing is it's going to get all the leads in our database. And this also has a filter that says only return the rows where the email prepared column is empty, meaning that we haven't yet prepared an email for that particular lead, right? So it's only going to return them. And now we are processing all of these leads one by one using OpenAI's 4.1 mini model, and we are gonna wait. All right, so it has been over 5 minutes and currently it has over 150 personalized emails generated. And once it has done that for all 177 items, it's going to update it into our Google Sheets here into the email prepared column. So we'll be able to see it in just a bit, right? And while waiting, I'll also let you know, as always, I'm going to be uploading this workflow here into my Skool community as always. So if you haven't joined yet, it's completely free. We are currently at 3K members. Once you're in, the only thing you'll have to do is head over to the YouTube video and resources section. This is where I upload all the resources and the posts associated to my videos. And once I upload this video, I'm also going to create a post for it, right? So you can just click on the post and look for the attachments. And in the attachment, you'll have to find a JSON file, which corresponds to the workflow. Just go ahead, click on it, download it, and head over to your canvas. Once you're here, you can just click on the three-dotted button here and click on import from file, select the file that you just downloaded, and you should have the workflow imported just like that. I think we're almost done here. Yeah, we actually are. We are currently at 176 items, already 177. We can see that all of them are completed and we should be able to see it added into our database here. And indeed, that's the case. Let's expand this and let's see the kind of email we have here. So, hey Gustavus, love how Adore Diamors brings luxurious body care and fragrance to life. Please allow me to introduce myself. I'm a former senior software engineer turned automation expert, and in just under 3 months, I built a YouTube channel with over 5,000 subscribers. This part here, right? Please allow me to introduce myself. All the way down here is actually fixed, and the only part that I told the LLM or the AI to personalize is the icebreaker, and also if it sees any opportunities based on the keywords or the headline of this person, it can also try to, let's say, change the ending of this and like some other parts of it if it makes sense. But apart from that, it is strictly fixed, right? And the reason to that is because most of the pitch is going to be the same. I am going to provide the exact same service for each of these people. So that was my idea, and this is exactly what I'm planning to actually send out to people once I get my Google Workspace email ready. And yeah, apart from that, maybe I'll just add the links to my YouTube channel, my Medium account, and my Skool community, right, as a social proof for them to have confidence in me, of course, along with my website. So that is actually my goal right now. So what I'm also telling them here is like, can I zoom in? So I'm saying here are a few processes we could explore automating together: repetitive admin tasks, customer follow-ups, data entry, invoicing, lead generation and outreach workflows, order management plus fulfillment alerts, AI-powered email autoresponders using your own knowledge base, basically offering them RAG. They probably don't know what it is. Would you be open to a quick call to explore which workflows we can automate in your business together? So the idea here is like, hey, let's explore together based on your current business workflow, what we can automate and take out of your plate, right? So that's the idea here. I know I'm not a great salesman, but I want to start with this. I'm really not experienced with, just sending cold emails. Before this, I was working for a company as a software engineer. So I already had the client that I had to work with. So it was pretty easy. And this is going to be different, but I do like the experience nonetheless. Then we got the second person. Hey Rowan, I love how Bliss Creativity champions retail art supplies with such passion. Please allow me to introduce myself again. I'm a former senior software engineer. Let's see if there is any part of this that is different. I don't really see that. So that's what I actually told the AI. We're going to be looking at that. Okay, let's take a look at the next one here. Hey Steven, I noticed Eddie Vivid Group, however it's pronounced, focus on industrial automation is impressive and inspiring. Again, we have the icebreaker here. Please allow me to introduce myself. Hey, I love how O Beneficio blends unique products like liquor de ginja with sustainability. Please allow me to introduce myself. But anyway, let's scroll all the way down, and this was like the retail part, right? Let's go down and look for the real estate industry. And for that, okay, yeah, here we are. So, hey guy, NSL Property Group's expertise in commercial real estate really stands out. Please allow me to introduce myself. And I'm not seeing any of these being different, by the way. There might be, but I did actually specify to it if it finds any opportunity to like personalize these parts to go ahead, but it did not. Obviously, we do have parts that are dynamic here, right? For example, I'm reaching out because I believe there's an opportunity to streamline Byfair Properties operations, and this is dynamic for every other email. So to streamline NSL Property Group's operations, please allow me to introduce myself. As usual, your commitment to sustainable architecture truly inspires innovation in real estate. I noticed ZAM Prime Properties excel in real estate agents and brokers networking. Please allow me to introduce myself, blah, 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 and so on. So that's pretty much it. And that is how we are preparing these personalized email for these people. Again, we could go one step further by scraping the data that is included here, such as their organization's LinkedIn, organization site, their Twitter URL, or their own LinkedIn profile, right? With that, this is pretty much what we have. Unfortunately, again, I would have sent all these emails, but again, my Google Workshop email is not out yet, so I'm not able to do it, and I don't want to send it from my personal email. That is why we are just going to have this in this sheets for now. But let's go back to the workflow and now understand exactly what is going on here, right? So the first step was lead sourcing, where we generated leads. So for the leads provider, I actually used this thing called Apollo, okay? And for this, you'll have to create an account, which is super easy. Once you do that, we will go to their homepage, right? From there, you can just select people. And once we are here, we can actually start setting the filters we want based on the type of leads we are looking for. And we can actually see the configuration I have set for my previous search. You can see that we are looking for the email status to be verified, and then the job titles here, you can click on it, right? And you can select the job titles you want these leads to be related to. And you can see that in my case, I selected these 4 here. You can just click on this and select from others. And there's also departments and job function. So you got design, education, finance, and all of these jazz here, right? So this is the job titles. And then we got the company. You can even select the companies of people you are looking for, or you can also exclude them. So this is a filter for that. In my case, I left it empty. And then here is the location that I was talking about. You can select the country you want the leads to be from, right? Which could be really powerful if the service you're providing is local. Like if, let's say, you are a plumber, you would want to find people in your local area, right? Then we got employees. Like I said, I selected 1 to 10 and I left the rest empty. I didn't check the rest. You could select from the others as well. And we can see here to the right the number of leads associated to the company of a particular size. So in our case, 1 to 10 has 92,000. And if you selected this, we would actually add another 42K. I'm just going to leave this empty, obviously, and I'm going to continue with the next one. Why is it obviously? Not obviously. I'm just going to leave that empty. Continue with the next part. So industry and keywords. In my case, this is my second search query, and the previous one I selected retail, right? But I did 2 separate searches. I'll explain why in just a bit. So I'm going to remove this again, and that's pretty much what I selected. You can see here we have AI filters, but when I did try it, it said you need to upgrade to Pro plan. We got buying intent, same case, you need to upgrade, so I didn't touch this. So once we're done configuring the type of leads we want to generate, we're actually not going to be using this website to search for them, but another website that is going to pull from this website. And the reason to that is because it's cheaper. So, and for that, what we need to do is we need to copy this search URL here, and this is what we are going to be pasting into the service that we are going to be using in a bit. And you can see that that is where I saved my URLs. So I have the search URL here, which is an array, right? And when we expand it, you can see that I posted 2 different search URLs, of which the first one is for the retail leads, right? And then the second one is for the real estate leads. And what we are going to do next is we are going to head over to this website called Appify. And when you're here, you want to click, you'll have to create an account, and you'll have to click on go to console. If you're wondering what Appify is, it is essentially a marketplace for what they call actors. And an actor essentially is just a service that was built by an individual or a company, and they are usually around web scraping. You can see here we have different kind of tools, and the way we can use each of these tools vary depending on the provider. Some of them may ask you to pay as you use their service. Some of them might ask for monthly subscriptions if you want to be able to use their services. And when we sign up to this website, we actually get a free $5 worth of credit for every month. And you can see that in my case, I already actually exceeded that limit using the scraper or the service I used to get the lease data here. And for this, what we are going to do is we're going to search for Apollo leads, right? It's Apollo Scraper. Okay, and this is the service that I'm using, or the actor that I'm using in this case. And the payment model for this is you pay per leads, right? So you'll have to pay $1.2 for every 1,000 leads, which is super reasonable, and that is why I think it's actually very cool to use. Now remember the search URL that we copied from Apollo's website, right? We'll have to paste it here, and what this service is going to do for us is it's internally going to connect to Apollo using this search URL, and it's going to start extracting the leads for us, right? You can see here it says total number of records required. We can specify the number of leads we want to generate per search, but there is a caveat, however, for free tier usage, and that is that the total number of records that we can extract per search is only 100. So I was trying to work around this by being smart, because this URL here has something called page 1, right? So what I did at first was I was incrementing these pages, and I thought it was working, but it turns out that it was actually returning the exact same data. So this part failed. So I had to be content with 100 leads per search URL. And what I did here was pass in 2 different search URLs, and one of them targets the retail industry, right? And the other one, the real estate industry. This way I was able to get 200 leads using this service. And of course, you could also increase that by adding different industries or changing the number of employees per company, the location of these companies. So there are definitely other workarounds for this if you want to use this for free, but I'm definitely considering to actually get on the paid plan. It could be for this service or for another service that I find that may be better than it, right? But this is definitely a blessing considering that I'm able to use this for free. So it's a great starting point at least. But yeah, that's what I'm doing pretty much, right? I'm getting the search URL here, pasting it in the search URL, and with this, oops, let me copy this, paste it again. And then once you got this, in my case, I don't have any more permission to run this actor, so I'm not going to be able to do that. But for the one that I have here, what I did was I actually used my other account. So I signed up with 2 different accounts to be able to use it again. And this thing here also provides us an API that we can connect to externally. So that's what makes it really powerful, right? And that's exactly what I'm doing here in my workflow. This HTTP node here, what it does is it connects to this particular actor and sends it the search URL. We are sending the search URL here. So we are passing in the URL. Total records, again, 100 since we are the free tier. We are also specifying the get work emails and get personal emails. And apart from that, we also have to pass in our API key, which is referred to as token here. Obviously, do not share your token with anybody if you don't want them to start incurring costs on your behalf. But I'm going to be removing this before I even post this video, so I'm safe. But yeah, so this token here, you have to pass into the API. And let's take a look at how we can do that. First, you'll have to go into the Apollo scraper, and once you're here, you can see this API drop down here, and we'll have to click on API endpoint. And instead of using this run actor, we need to use run actor synchronously and get data set items, because we don't want to just run it and let it return response to us. We want it to run and then first complete the request, extract all the leads, and then return the extracted leads back to us, right? So that is why I'm using this endpoint here. So just head over to here and click on this. This is going to copy the whole URL for us, including our token, so that we don't have to go and manually grab it, right? Once we do that, we'll go into this HTTP request node and set the URL with what we just copied. And once we're done with that, we need to create a body, and we're going to select the body content type as JSON and the specify body as using JSON, and pass in this JSON here. And where I got this is from the input of this actor, and to do that we can just head over to this actors page again and click on the JSON tab, right? And you can see here it actually provides us exactly with the body that we need to send to this actor in order to use it. So that's exactly what I copied. And when we go back to our configuration here, you can see that I did exactly that. But of course, for the search URL, I'm passing it dynamically from this set node. Again, we have the search URL array where we pass in this case, 2 separate search URLs. And these URLs get split out, which gets individually processed by this HTTP node parallelly. So in other words, we are sending 2 requests, one for each of these search URL at the same time to this API. And once this is done processing it, it is going to return to us the response, of which we later map, as we already saw, right? We map it using the set node here. And then finally, we filter it. And here we are setting the conditions to only keep the rows where the email is not equals to null, aka not equals to empty. And finally, we are removing duplicates, and we are checking for duplicates by comparing the emails field. And that is what we finally upload into our Google Sheets, right? So that is the lead sourcing for you. Again, I'm going to be uploading this to my Skool community, so feel free to join and get access to it. And next, what we have here is the personalized email outreach. And here, if you notice, we have a schedule trigger, right? The idea for the schedule trigger is this. The reason I have this in place is because based on my research, the ideal number of emails that we should send in a day from a single mailbox is around 30 to 50 if it is not a Google Workspace, for example, right? If you are using a Google Workspace email, aka an email connected to a business domain, then you can send safely up to 50 to 100 emails. And the idea here is that we want to schedule a trigger so that the number of emails that we send in a day is within that safe limit. Even though in this case, I have a scheduled trigger, but then I just get all the pending leads, as we already saw. And in this case, yeah, I can just do that since we're just uploading it back into the Google Sheets. But if I were to actually send an email, what I would do is, in my case, I would have a Google Workspace email, so I can send around 100, right? We have 24 hours in a day. Maybe I might split it to something like 4 emails an hour. So I'll schedule this trigger by the hour, and I'll tell it every hour, go and grab 4 emails or 4 lead data, and then send out emails to these leads, and then wait for another hour until it sends out another 4 emails. And I know this might sound little, but unfortunately this is the case. We can't just send out like 500 emails or thousands of emails using just a single account. For that, there are special services that actually do it for us. And I think instead of that, what I would do is I would probably create another mailbox under my same domain, maybe another 2, and I'll be sending out 100 from each, so 300 a day. That should also work. That's what at least I'm planning right now, but that might also change. And anyway, I thought I should tell you that. You probably already know it, but just in case you don't. Okay, then what we do again is we get the pending leads. In this case, we just go into our leads database. We select the list sheet, okay, and we are telling it to filter based on the email column, and we are passing it an empty value here. Again, you can see here it says the column must have this value to be matched, basically telling it to only return rows with this column being empty. Okay, and that's pretty much it. And finally, we have the LLM where we prepare the prompt. Okay, so we have the system message here. In the system message, we are telling it, hey, this is your role. You are a cold email copywriter. Goal is to produce a short email that feels personal, keeps the core pitch unchanged, like as I mentioned earlier. High value tweak is obvious, unless, right? Then we got variables where we are passing in all the necessary information except for the name of the lead, which is unnecessary. In this case, we're going to be adding that manually ourselves since that is going to be fixed, right? Then we're telling it how to personalize. We are saying, hey, for the icebreaker, exactly 1 short sentence, max 15 words, must sound energetic, uplifting, warm and friendly, feel good vibe, exclamation, optional, right? Use 1 specific detail, keyword, product line, LinkedIn snippet or location. No filler like hope you're well. Pitch section must remain verbatim. except you may insert below 7 words that tie the pitch to a clear opportunity. Then we're passing in an example here, right? And then we're saying tone, professional, confident, friendly. By the way, this prompt here, I collaboratively prepared using O3, and I think it did a fantastic job, if I have to be honest. Then we are also giving it rules. We're saying never include subject lines, never include greetings, never include sign-offs, right? Like best, etc. We are also going to be adding it ourselves since this is always going to remain the same. We also tell it start directly from the icebreaker sentence, then flow into the introduction. Then here we're telling you to keep it short, output plain text only, no markdown, avoid using EM dashes because in my opinion gives away that it is AI because I don't usually see people use this, at least not often, right? Then we got prompt user message here and we're telling it to add the icebreaker here, and then we also pass in our pitch, which is mostly fixed but also specify to it that if there is an obvious opportunity, then definitely try to personalize it further with using less than 7 words in our case. And we are also using or passing the name of the organization here dynamically, again, to make it more personalized, right? And that is pretty much what this LLM does. And based on the data that we provided with, it is going to generate a personalized email. And in this case, what we do with that is we add it into the row number that corresponds to the current lead. And we are adding all this data into the email prepared column. And we have the hey, we are adding this manually. And then finally, we are saying best Mahmoud, which is also going to be fixed. And finally, we got the JSON text, which is the personalized email, the final email that our LLM here prepared. And with that, we have all of this done, and I hope this video was helpful to you and at least gave you an idea on what kind of strategies you can use in order to generate leads and also send out personalized emails. Like I said, I'm super new in this and I'm aware that there are also other ways of, getting to leads, such as like scraping job postings, all of those stuff. And I'm definitely going to be looking into those things. And as I learn, I'm going to be sharing it with you guys in this channel. So be sure to follow. If you did like this video, please do like the video, or if you can, even comment on it, as engagement truly helps in getting my channel reach out to more people. But with that said, have a great day. I'll see you in the next one.